You found the perfect CPU cooler. 5 stars everywhere. Fits the budget. Looks incredible in the build. Then you check the compatibility list and your socket isn't on it. Now you're knee-deep in a forum thread at 2 a.m. wondering why nobody warned you. Here's the thing. Your CPU socket doesn't just decide which processor goes in. It decides which cooler sits on top. And there are way more sockets than you'd expect. LGA 775. This is where Intel's modern cooler mounting story really starts. Launched in 2004, it carried everything from the space heater Pentium 4 to the legendary Core 2 Duo. The mounting system used 4 plastic pushpins that you pressed through holes in the motherboard. Sounds simple enough. It was not. Those pushpins were like assembling flat-pack furniture where one leg refuses to stay in. You'd lock one corner and another would pop right back up. Nearly every aftermarket cooler from that era supported it because LGA 775 was Intel's only mainstream socket for years. If your cooler wasn't seated evenly, your temps would spike for no obvious reason. The stock cooler was loud and barely adequate. Most builders learned the hard way that mounting pressure matters more than thermal paste brand. A frustrating socket, sure, but it forced an entire generation to actually understand contact pressure. LGA 115X and 1200. Intel went on a naming spree here. LGA 1156, 1155, 1150, 1151, and eventually 1200. 5 different sockets over 12 years. One beautiful mounting pattern. All of them share the same 75 by 75 mm hole spacing. That means a cooler bought for a first-gen Core i7 in 2009 still fit an 11th-gen chip in 2021. It's like finding out your old phone charger works on 5 different phones. Aftermarket coolers ditch the pushpins for backplate and screw designs. Way more secure, way less rage-inducing. Stock Intel coolers still used pushpins though. Intel really loved those things. This socket family covers the widest range of processors in Intel's modern history. If you're buying a used cooler online, there's a very good chance it supports 115X. That alone makes this the most important mounting standard Intel ever shipped. Just confirm the bracket kit actually includes LGA 1200 clips. Usually it does. Sometimes it quietly doesn't. LGA 1700. In late 2021, Intel finally broke the streak, and it broke a lot of cooler collections with it. The mounting holes shifted to 78 by 78 mm, only 3 mm wider than 115X. But those 3 mm mean your old cooler will not physically mount without a new bracket. The IHS also got taller and more rectangular. Think of it like a door frame that got slightly wider. Your old door simply doesn't close anymore. Most cooler manufacturers shipped free LGA 1700 upgrade kits. Some charged for them. The big story here was IHS bending. That rectangular shape didn't always distribute mounting pressure evenly. People were literally putting washers between the socket and the cooler to fix it. Intel addressed the issue in later revisions. If you're on 12th, 13th, or 14th Gen Intel, confirm LGA 1700 support specifically. Don't assume your old 115X bracket will work. It won't. LGA 2011 and 2066. Welcome to Intel's high-end desktop playground. These HET sockets used a wider 80 by 80 mm square pattern. The IHS was physically bigger to cover more cores. We're talking chips with 6, 10, even 18 cores on some models. Everything about this platform was scaled up. It's like going from a hatchback to a full-size SUV. No pushpins anywhere near this thing. Mounting was strictly screws and heavy-duty backplates. Most mainstream tower coolers offered 2011 and 2066 bracket kits, but the real play was big 280 or 360 mm AIOs. These chips ran hot under sustained workloads and needed serious cooling. If you see 2011 or 2066 on a cooler's compatibility list, it generally means the cooler was built for higher TDP loads. This platform is mostly retired now, but it set the blueprint for how Intel handles high core count cooling today. AM2 and AM3. AMD took a completely different path. Instead of pushpins or backplate screws, AMD used a plastic retention bracket bolted to the motherboard around the socket. Stock coolers attached with a simple metal clip. Hook one side, stretch the clip across, lock it down with a lever. The whole thing took about 10 seconds. It was like clipping a leash onto a collar. No screwdriver, no backplate fumbling, no rage. AM2 launched in 2006, and AM3 followed in 2009. Both used the same cooler mounting pattern. Aftermarket coolers could either use the clip system or swap in their own backplate for extra hold. While Intel builders were wrestling pushpins and questioning their life choices, AMD builders were clicking coolers into place and moving on. Not glamorous, but it just worked. That kind of simplicity earns loyalty. AM4. AMD's Ryzen revolution brought AM4 in 2017, and they made one brilliant move. They kept the same clip-style retention bracket from AM3, a cooler from 2009, still mounted on a Ryzen 5 5600X in 2021. That's over a decade of backwards compatibility on one mounting pattern. AM4 also added screw-based mounting holes for aftermarket coolers that preferred direct contact. So you had options: clips for speed or screws for pressure. The stock Wraith coolers were genuinely capable too. The Wraith Prism even came with RGB because apparently everything needs RGB now. AM4 covered 5 generations of Ryzen chips, from the original Ryzen 1000 through the 5000 series. Cooler compatibility here is basically universal. If you're building on AM4, almost every cooler on the market supports you. Drop what cooler you're running on AM4 in the comments. I guarantee somebody else has the exact same one. AM5. AMD switched to an LGA design for the first time with consumer Ryzen in 2022. That sounds like a compatibility nightmare. But AMD did something smart. They kept the exact same mounting hole dimensions as AM4. Every AM4 compatible cooler works on AM5 without a new bracket. No upgrade kit, no adapter plate, just bolt it on. It's like moving to a new apartment and realizing all your old furniture fits perfectly. The socket underneath changed completely. Different contact design, DDR5 support, PCIe 5.0. But from a cooling perspective, the top looks identical. The catch is that TDPs went up with Ryzen 7000 and 9000 series. A small 92mm tower cooler might mount just fine, but struggle to cool a 170-watt chip. Compatibility and capability are two very different things. Make sure your cooler can handle the heat, not just fit the holes. Threadripper. If every other socket is an apartment, Threadripper is a warehouse. These AMD workstation chips have massive integrated heat spreaders. We're talking roughly 68 by 51 millimeters of IHS surface area. The mounting pattern is completely unique and much wider than anything on AM4 or AM5. You need a cooler specifically designed for this socket. A standard tower cooler won't even cover the full IHS. That's like putting a coaster on a dinner plate. Popular options are large 280 or 360mm AIOs with Threadripper-specific brackets, or dedicated air coolers like the Noctua U14S TR4 SP3. These sockets support chips running anywhere from 24 to 96 cores. The cooling demands are no joke. If you're building a Threadripper workstation, this is absolutely not where you cut the budget. These chips need every square millimeter of contact and every bit of airflow you can throw at them. From Intel's infuriating pushpins to AMD's clip-and-done simplicity, cooler mounting has quietly evolved alongside the processors themselves. LGA 775 made us suffer. The 115X family gave us a golden decade of peace. LGA 1700 broke the streak and bent a few IHS plates along the way. AM4 proved that backwards compatibility isn't just possible, it's a feature. And AM5 proved AMD was paying attention. Whether you're clicking on a stock fan or bolting down a 360 AIO, knowing your socket saves you the midnight bracket hunt. What socket are you building on right now? Drop it below. If this helped you out, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel. Next up, I'm breaking down every AMD Ryzen generation from the original Zen all the way to Zen 5. You don't want to miss it. Click the video on screen right now.